Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Roberts. I'm with the support team, and welcome to our Decisions Lunch and Learn. We'll go ahead and give a few minutes and let people join in. And we've got a few people in right now. We have Jeremy and Morel. Right now, we don't have any pre-submitted questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to come off mute. All right, Morel, so you did come off mute.
Yes, do you have, do you know what I would search for in the documentation if I wanted to find out on version 8 about using a non-admin service account to run decisions?
I believe it should have on the documentation. I believe it should be under the installation portion. Let's see. Service accounts. Yep. Oops. Yep, I'll go ahead and
Hey,
put in
Brian,
the.
are you sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry, was not sharing my screen. Let me share here, but here is the running. Can everyone see my documentation side?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I think, let me make sure. Yep, host and panelist. So here is the link, Morel.
Okay, perfect.
I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure it's this. We haven't made any huge changes in version 8 for that.
Okay.
Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions today? If not, I'll just go ahead and showcase some of the couple new features in version 8. I'm on version 8.7. One thing off the back I'd like to highlight, if I can remember which one it was. Let's see. I can pull it up. Yep. So this is our new tool, maintenance mode. It has been getting used. Well, I don't know if it's been getting used a lot, but it is a little neat tool. This is what you want to do if you're going to be, if you want to, you're pushing changes to your production and you want to prevent, any calls from going in or people from logging in. This will boot any user that's logged in from the system, say for admin users, and this will stop all like API calls and everything. So that once API calls coming in, if you're making calls to decisions, those will get stopped by this as well. This is only really to be used when you're, pushing code here. So this is strictly maintenance stuff. So that's a new feature. Once you enable it, you go and click yes here, and it'll give a warning saying that the server will be placed in maintenance mode. So you get a 5-minute warning. Once that 5 minutes is up, you just get kicked out, and the server's basically locked down just for like code migration. Let's see. The next. It's one of the newer like system tools we have. One thing we've done more recently in newer versions. Let me see where it's at. we've done a little, well, we haven't moved it, but we've added under the scheduled jobs, you've actually included the thread jobs report as well. So if you're wondering what's keeping your scheduled job up or why your scheduled job isn't running on its specified time, this is where the first place I'd start looking at. Just to confirm if you have anything waiting in the job queue. Lots of times if you have a lot of thread jobs running or at the same time, we will be waiting for that. If it's on the same queue as the scheduled job, that scheduled job will wait until that queue is sort of cleared out before it starts running. So that's something I've seen a couple times, sort of preventing scheduled jobs from running. Let's see. Let me think if there's much else I have. There was something I found out recently, just doing some testing, when using the debugger on how to sort of debug or at least confirm some of the inputs on a flow. So do I have a, this one may work. No, I'm still testing something there. I need to, actually I can use this one. So new piece I've sort of realized or learned recently is when you start debugging nowadays or with any flows, you can right click the flow on the debugger and you can actually see the input data of the flow before when you're troubleshooting it. So if you've seen a flow and you're already knee deep in it and you don't want to go out to the parent flow and check the inputs, you can right click the flow in the debugger. And that should be of any flow. It's not every step, but every flow, and you can go into the input data here. So this was a nice little tool I found with troubleshooting, trying to sort of track and keep track of where the data is going in the process. Let's see. Another tool I've been using a lot of, it's just sort of tracking performance issues, is the profiler. Also recently we've got a couple issues with we've had customers having issues with the profile and trying to understand where to start looking for these things. So, you know, first thing is always to look logs, but if it's more so a flow's taking a long time or process is just running slow, the profiler is your next best bet here. Um, and the idea here is to look for, you know, processes that take like an absurdly large amount of time. Like these base ones, like these ORM sort of things, are these have a little bit higher calls, but these are, you know, just normal processes running in decisions. So those are more so you won't be looking for those. Those are be expected to have a little bit higher numbers. What you'd want to look here is for something, you know, maybe above 4 or 5 seconds, something, you know, something like a standout. You'll see certain things get higher and lower just based on, you know, what decisions is running, but you can always look into those high number, you know, calls, and you can expand with them then to see what's happening. You can, you know, go specifically in, check, you know, what service reports running, you know, that sort of thing. You can even go almost to the query that decisions is running and seeing, you know, how many times we're running it and how fast that is running. So it's a nice handy tool to sort of troubleshoot performance on the server. Let's see here. We've also got the event viewer and the flow management tool or the flow management report. The event viewer is good for checking data structure statuses and lock services, seeing what items are locked. You can also check your upgrade history as well as far as also heavy database queries. We also have the thread job log. We also have a schedule job log here as well that lets us see what scheduled jobs have ran. We have the orphan entities to get a list of or like entities are that have been orphaned. Also, we have our message queue report. And if you have message queues running, it should be capturing those message queue calls here. So these are also tools used to just see, the health of the server and see what's going on there. The flow management tool is really great because you can actually see, stored workflows. If there are more steps, right now I don't have a lot of steps here, but you can also roll flows back from here. We have I believe the running flows report. It's really good. It gives you an idea what's running on the server. So you can, if you see something or you're wondering why, something's taking a long time, you can see what else is running on the server. And the integration activities is really great. You'll be able to see emails that are being sent from the service. So if there's an issue, with sending emails, you can do that. Morel, you raised your hand. Sorry.
Yeah, so on I forgot which one it was. There was a couple of reports that you showed that I was interested in. So there was one on running jobs.
Mhm.
So we're having an intermittent problem with one of our applications where the job runs, there's a part of it that doesn't complete. But when you look at the scheduled job, it says it ran fine. Would we be able to find extra detail in this report?
You should at least be able to see when it's running and when it stops running. So you're saying it runs and then but doesn't run a certain part there. Does it like route around it, or how are we confirming that that part isn't running?
So we have some text files that are coming in, and this one step is supposed to combine two text files and then load them into a local connection table.
Mhm.
Whenever it fails, it will run and load one of the two files.
Mhm.
The only way we know it didn't run is when someone goes to reference that table and they say, well, this was here yesterday, it's not here today, because it runs on a daily update.
Mhm.
And then we go back and check, and it's always the same thing. It skipped the second file. During the scheduled job, if you run it again to try and see an error in the debugger, it runs fine. It's almost like it wants you to hold its hand. I don't know, we don't know what's causing it or where to find a problem.
Mhm.
It doesn't register as the job failing. It registers that it successfully ran. Things come up, they go fine. It was supposed to, like, say a mailing address for someone, and yesterday the person had a mailing address, today they don't. And that's the
So
only way we know it didn't run.
so it is running. So scheduled job will only track failures. Normally we should get a error message when it fails. So we should be
Right.
getting an error message, but it doesn't register whenever it's happening as a failure. Do we have any logging around? Do we have like a catch exception within that scheduled job at all?
I don't remember. We might have. We put a catch exception on something. I don't remember if it was that one or not. I can
Yeah,
try that
yeah.
so that
I
it'll at
think
least let us know.
yeah, get a catch exception and add some like an additional log step, because it should give us what it's logging. But if it's registering it as a success, it might not be capturing it, or maybe that step is just continuing on. Because we would, yeah, if the scheduled job actually failed, it would should log it as a failure and give us an error message as to why it failed. So I'm wondering if we probably should add some additional logging here.
Okay. I can open a ticket to do that if it's not in there. Does it make a difference? So the job runs one flow and the one that's failing, if you will, is a subflow.
That could
But
be possible, because it is, if it's a subflow, I would expect it to still capture it. But if it's a subflow and it just, yeah, because I would still expect it, because the scheduled job would just sit if it failed. I would expect it to.
Okay. Yeah, we don't know what's causing it, and it probably happened last, I don't know, 2 months ago, and then suddenly it happened again today for no
Mhm.
good reason. And when we run it through the debugger to see an error message, it runs
Yeah.
fine.
Right. I'd put a log and I'd do like a catch exception. I'd also see if I can put a log prior to the step where we write that data to the database to see what it's getting.
Okay,
Because then maybe it's somehow like just sending null data to it, and then it's just writing that null data in.
okay, we can try that.
Okay. Yeah, and if that doesn't work, please submit a support ticket so we can
Will do.
get on a call and look at that in closer detail.
Okay, what were some of the other, there was another one of the jobs that was off of the more. I'll, if I think of it, I'll ask again.
Okay. Yeah, we have the thread
Um,
jobs here as well. I think. Can I see some more people have joined us. Jeff and Alex, how you guys doing? Jeff has a question. Let's see. Think you helped me with this while I was in town, but I have a new question. Decided to remove our system constants from our projects and handle them manually as an administrative task to prevent overriding QA and production values with dev. That worked fine. However, since I removed them from the product, they all show up on the add dependencies repository dialog. Developers are inadvertently adding them back to the project. Is there a way to permanently tell decisions to not think they are a part of the project? Because it does, yeah, rely on those. That's a good question. Let me think. So when we do it, we could. I don't think we have a way of actually breaking that dependency. Could we, when the users, did, because there's an add dependency, because there should be like an add dependency like prompt that the users get. I don't think we have a way of actually telling it not to consider those dependencies, but we could just have we can train the developers to say, if we see that, just ignore that for now. Because I think the likelihood that they're also, or we just train them to be aware, like, hey, we don't add these to the project. I don't think there's a way to.
Yeah, hey Brendan. Yeah, I did tell the developers to like be on the lookout for that. So when they see system constants on the add dependencies, let's not to add them back. They're just like catching some of them accidentally sometimes, I think. So I just thought it'd be cleaner if they weren't there.
Right. Could we?
The other thing too is that the way that we previously were using the add dependencies dialog is they'd open it up and usually there'd be one or two things on there that they knew right away that they need to add those new objects to the project. But now there's like 136 things on the list. So
what if we could? Like, I wonder if we could. Like, I wonder if we could. So you got these are like system constants that we have. I wonder if we. What's the best way to handle this? 'Cause you're right, that is going to be.
Yeah, that's another question. Is it maybe I'm handling this incorrectly?
I think if there's a better way to. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a better way to handle it.
Because that was the other issue before. When they were in the project, the developer would like make an update to a value for dev, and then that would get checked in, and I'd miss it because I do have a step to manually remove system constants from the deployment packages. And if I missed it, then production would get updated with the dev value, which was not good.
Maybe we could. So you have a flow that automatically just removes those from the project.
Well, not even a flow. I just open up the zip file and look for flow constant underscore something and just delete it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could maybe. maybe we could add logic because like the check and flow already the check and flow is already like a flow that's built in decisions with system stuff. I wonder if we can modify that underlying flow to look for those like the specific names of those constant values
Mhm.
and then just remove them from the dependencies list before we actually serve it to the user.
Oh, maybe I didn't think about that.
And then that way it won't show up in the list and they won't have the option to. That's an idea.
Oh, that's a good idea. And I could probably actually do that. I mean, I've worked enough making modifications to the, the repository flows. I could probably figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, if you get stuck there, put a ticket in, I can help you sort of figure that out.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, I see, Alex, you raised your hand. You wanna want mute?
Okay, yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, I have an issue. We're currently going from 6.18 to 8.6, and one of my reports has ceased to work because it has a flow column in it. And the reason that I have the flow column is because in 6.18, there was a limitation to the number of objects that you could join together, being 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of wondering, are there any other options that I can use to be able to join 3 objects together in a report? Because my flow thing is broken in 8.6, and I'm just wondering if there's a way around it.
So we're using a like a flow line, like a flow column.
Flow inline column, yeah, whatever that thing is called, yeah.
Let me think.
Like I'm wondering, like, is it possible to like effectively create like a view in the SQL database and then basically be able to reference that view?
I wonder if you could create, because you need to join, because I guess you can like, I wonder if you can create, can we do a relationship to a view? I wonder. That's a question I can.
Yeah,
So you're
so
doing,
effectively what I need to do is I need to access the entity folders to get the state of my flow extension type, and I want to join that to 2 of my own custom user defined types, both of which are, I believe, database.
if they're, yeah, if they're database tables, we can create like a table relationship. We should be able to if we do like integrations, databases, go to the local connection and add a relationship. I don't know. Do we have it for?
Oh, so you're saying that I can join my 2 types together here, and
Mhm.
then I can use this table relationship as the second thing that I connect to in my report?
Yep, you can. So I can, let me grab view. Well, actually, let's do this. Add relationship. Let's say, let's see. I need something. Let's try MR2 EHD. So I can do module resource and we'll do entity ID to entity GUI entity header data, and we'll do join on the ID. So now if I hop in here, module resource. We have add related table, and then you can add the entity header data table here. So let me remove that.
No, but no, that's where I'm at already.
Okay.
I need to get a third relationship in here.
I believe we can add as many tables to what would be if we have like a whatever value we relate to it. I believe we can add an additional table to this as well. It would just be like it'd just be to like the higher level table. So in this case, let me do MR2ER. So we can do module resource, do the entity ID again, and then element registration. I think that's component registration ID. Okay. Will it? Yeah, so we can add an additional table. I believe we can add as many tables as we need to here, as long as they're I guess the foreign key is the same between all three, or that we're relating them to the same key. In this case, we're just doing the entity ID that relates to all three tables.
Okay. Okay, so that effectively answers my question, because my understanding was that in prior versions of decisions, you could only have two in your report.
I think you can add as many as you need to, as long as that ID is, relates to the three.
Yeah, okay, I have something that's common to all three of them, so that's great.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Great,
Sounds
thank
good.
you.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Does anyone else have any other questions? All right. I don't really have anything else to show there. So I think if we don't have any other questions, we are good to end it for today. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Be sure to stop by tomorrow. Will wasn't able to make it today, but he should be on tomorrow to answer any of the questions that you guys have. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Great, thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.